Some weeks ago, I made a content that the marauding Fulanis are using attack drones to attack the Nigerian army base in Mathai, specifically located in Borno State. And just some days ago, now we are told that Bandit, on his way to Mecca to have, Hajj, observe the Umrah, because in few days' time, we're going to be having the big, festive period of the Muslim, which is called Salah. He was caught en route in Abuja, and why he was caught, it was questioned, and he said he has sponsored nothing less than 200 people in his own community to Saudi Arabia. In fact, a video, as you can see on my screen there, is that guy, Ado Alero, one of the top terrorist kingpins who have become a billionaire through this industry, the kidnapping industry. And he seems to be untouchable, he seems to be invisible. And here is the situation of Nigeria today, where Fulani marauding herders, kidnappers, bandits, they all go unabated in the Nigerian society territory, and yet the federal government, or should I say the Nigerian army, will not deploy the full security apparatus to clamp down this element. When these bandits and terrorists came into Nigeria, it was induced by political undertone, because then when Jonathan was doing everything possible to clamp them down, hiring machineries, South Africa, and then somewhere from, I think, Ukraine or Hungary, Bulgaria, and they were pointing out the location, the enclaves of these bandits, and all they needed to do was pinpoint where they were overnighting, attack and leave, strike and leave. Then we saw how the North vehemently, shouted, and they stopped Jonathan. And that was one of the reasons why they actually kicked Jonathan out, because they felt that Jonathan was a man who was ready to deepen Western liberation, education, enlightenment into the core North. And of course, we know what this Islamic State of West African province, what they stand for, or what Boko Haram stand for, what their agenda is clearly to eliminate and destroy anything that has to do with Western civilization. I'm just going to talk about the girl who has just been sentenced to death because she converted, right, from Islam to Christian. So by Sharia court, she has now been sentenced to be tried and then possibly sent to death, because this is institutionalized. Because I'll show you tweets of Northerners who are defending this cause, saying that if you have been a true Muslim, you understand that it is an heresy, it is an haram, it is one of the greatest offense as a Muslim faithful to convert to Christian or any other religion if you are not under duress, and you deserve to be annihilated, because that is the greatest, or part of the greatest sin any human being can actually commit against God. So going back to the issue of bandit, you see, these bandits people have become, if I'm going to be mindful with my words, they have become a mini government. Yes, because the last video that I made, a soldier literally said that I they come up for year, like this terrorists, they came in unabated, they cleared all the weapons, everything. I would have showed you if not for YouTube copyright issues. I've seen the video, right? They came into the camp of the Nigerian Army barracks, launched a brutal attack, wiped out about 6 Nigerian soldiers. They actually packed all the ammunitions, the vehicles, the bikes. They packed nothing less than 30 to 40 bikes. They took about 8 vehicles. I mean, in that video that I saw, this was actually released by these ISWAP gangs, right? A well-edited video, right? I'll try to show a clip, just like 2 seconds. Look at it. So they will, you see there, these guys have become so powerful that they have the audacity to now be sharing videos of attack. Their launched attack. These guys are wearing even well sophisticated gears than even our Nigerian soldiers. So you wonder how they've grown that balls of iron and steel, that now they are going for Hajj, sending their friends and families to Hajj. Now they've extended to even their communities. Like over 200 people, you guys should go and pray for us. Let us always have successful operations. And I tell you, I mean, believe me, you, that some unsuspecting community members will be praying that these bandits will go out on a daily basis to commit these operations. They come back alive. Why? Because the Nigerian government has failed. Why? Because the Nigerian as a state was never built to be together. That's just the truth. If Nigeria wasn't together, right? If we wanted to operate a nation that is fractionalized, I mean, the North today, without a doubt, without any form of obstacle, nothing stopping them, I'm telling you, they will have been Sharianized. I mean, this is all they've always wanted all their lives. They will have that as their culture because this is what they breathe, what they think, what they live, and what they are ready to die for, their religion. Imagine in a state whereby we are fractionalized. The North, they can decide to call themselves the Islamic State of Northern Nigeria, or whatever they, or not of Arewa, whatever name they decide to coin. And we will be on our own in the South. The Southwest decide to have a secular state. That would be through a consensus, I mean, through a referendum. If the Southeast decide to have a Jewish state, a Biafran state, whatever the case is, that will not, there won't be what we call the medulla interloper, this ideation or this idea that no, that the North will be calling the South kafirs, they'll be calling them infidels, such an insult, because I do not believe in your God, will not be there. Such arguments we won't be having such conversations, right? Because I have my own religious sovereignty. The North will have their own religious sovereignty. If you want to have a region, a confederation, whatever the case is, these things are all possible. And this was why I went after Bello Erufai when he said that having a system of governance where the presidency is rotated across the region is simply, he's smelling the coffee, and he knows that from having a conversation where presidency is being rotated amongst the region, we're going to conversations of regionalization. And these are the things they are scared of. They do not want to have conversations around these things. They always want to conflate the issues, make it seem as if it is a mountain that cannot be ascended. They make it look so mundane, so unachievable, that it is beyond human reasoning for Nigeria to be contrived into such formation. Listen, guys, listen, guys. As a Southerner, it has to get to that point that we need to be selfish. Whatever happens in the North today is because of their selfish interests. I repeat, whatever happens today in the North is because of their selfish interest. A situation whereby the bandits are, they are exporting their people, go to the Hajj, go and have the experience, and then they come back, join the banditry. Those that had the experience will say, oh, my life good, or they go back, go into the hustle. They too will now become even brutal, even unfeeling terrorists. They now even become worse than their mentors. And the vicious circle continues and expands. And here we are in the South trying to be, let us see if we can end the banditry. Listen carefully. The man who should have stopped this, right, was Jonathan. Buhari didn't try anything about this issue. Buhari never wanted this banditry to stop. Yes, Buhari, if Buhari had wanted this thing to stop, Buhari would have ensured that he carpet bombed Sambisa all through his 8 years. He would have arrested all the traditional leaders. He would have declared some odd zones, no-go area. There are no citizens, no civilian. Any civilian seen walking, if you have gone down, consider yourself not even a collateral damage, just consider yourself an enemy of the state. Buhari never did such. In fact, Buhari never declared state of emergency in all these odd zones. Is it in Sambisa? All these areas, in these states, is it in Sokoto, is it in Katsina? Buhari never did. What we saw is under Buhari's reign, the government were having serious negotiations with Bandit. Shall I remind you when we had the Abuja Kaduna Railway kidnap? Yes, there were rumors that the Nigerian army, in fact, it got to a point there was this conflict between the Nigerian police and the Nigerian army. Who is to take the credit? Initially the Nigerian army came out that, or was it the Nigerian police, that we were the one that intercepted the terrorists and we have been able to free the hostages. Along the line, the Nigerian army came out that no, we are, so this shame of a nation where the security apparatus cannot collaborate. They cannot work in solidarity amongst themselves. And then you tell me Nigeria is supposed to be a one nation. Look at the issue of that lady, Zainab. This lady, out of her own willingness as a human, for whatever reason that I do not know and I do not care to know, as reported by Sahara Report, as you can see on my screen over there, that she has decided to leave one religion for the other. However, the religion she left has now decided to get a hold of her, charge her to Sharia court, and she will possibly face the consequences because she had changed not under duress, not under the barrel of gun, but because she had changed under her willingness, which is against the tenets of this religion that we are talking about. Hence, she will be condemned to the capital punishment. I mean, such barbarism. And you know what breaks my heart is people are defending these. Some elements in the north are saying that, well, you cannot be a Muslim and you will not know that these are the foundational tenets, that it is institutionalized, that you changing, converting, yes, you have committed heresy. You have committed something that you deserve to be condemned to the capital punishment. I mean, it was one guy called Malik, a liberal Muslim guy who has faced so many backlash on social media across board. He said such a barbarism. If you want to leave a religion, I don't think that should be a call for alarm. You live on your own volition. You might decide to come back. I that I'm speaking to you, I have one time been a Muslim while I was in the north. I was born a Christian in my family. I converted to Muslim as the first guy. Now today my father is a Muslim. But when I came back to the south and over time, I haven't mixed with so many people, and I haven't had some very aggressive and stringent laws of Sharia in Kano State. I just felt I just didn't want to feel, banded, like caged. And then I said, let me just relax my nerves. And then I converted to Christian. And today I am not even a churchgoer anymore. I'm more like an altruistic person or an agnostic person who I know there's God, but I do not want to be brainwashed. I do my thing my own way. But if I was in the north and I tried all these things that I've just testified, I might have faced the brunt of the law. And this is the issues. And this is why I keep saying that a Nigeria should have been a nation that never happened. Like for real. This is why sometimes some of us we are tired of listening, because we look at the formation. No matter what good intention you think you have for this country, let me tell you, people will sabotage you. They don't sabotage you for religious reasons. They'll sabotage you for ethnicity reasons. Jonathan was sabotaged because of both. First and foremost, it was sabotaged because of ethnic reasons. Secondly, it was sabotaged for religious reasons. Because it was under the Jonathan we started seeing the leader of the you know the Northern faithful started saying that him carpet bombing, attacking their sons and daughters who are into banditry is an attack on the North. I mean, that is what religious. Because Jonathan said that these guys were out here pushing a destructive extremism. And this was called Islamic extremism, fanaticism. They were brainwashing people. They were telling people to go and commit suicide, that they will meet how many virgins again? Is it 76 virgins in the paradise? And people were doing this without a flinch, without even hesitating. You know, such power of hypnosis. So Jonathan decided to wipe them off, and then we started seeing all campaigns. I mean, these campaigns were not just in ordinary places. These campaigns were taken to religious setups. And as at then, we started hearing the likes of Professor Pantani as at 2009, 2010, when Jonathan assumed power. They started sending messages to governors that they should vacate. They started threatening Plateau Jos, and ever since that time, Plato has never known peace. Because why? The Jonathan wanted to stop the Islamic extremism. And then they launched that deadly campaign against him. And this day, those children of theirs have become the monster today who are consuming them and who are earning proceeds. And from that proceed, they are now sponsoring their core communities, core people to Hajj, and they are now getting exposed. And I'm saying that we as the Southerners, where we need to channel our energy is having a that dichotomy widened, because apparently, if a one Nigeria would work, we must erase ethnicity. That means if truly one Nigeria, I hope you are listening. If a one Nigeria will work, we must zero out ethnicity, we must zero out tribe, we must zero out religion. Nigeria must become a full-fledged secular state. But again, it is just a mission to what? To fertility. Because indeed, like I say, no nation is built on secularity. It's impossible. Israel is not a secular state. America is not a secular state. Dubai is not a secular state. UK, United Kingdom, England, they are not a secular state. Morocco is not a secular state. Tunisia is not a secular state. I can go. Russia is not a secular state. Finland is not a secular. These are states that are well developed, right? Singapore is not a secular state. That you should know. And when they bring this facade that one Nigeria is a state that does not recognize a religion, it's a lie. The Nigerian Constitution recognizes Sharia, explicitly stated and protected. So the idea, the notion that a nation can be built on secularism, it's a facade, a charade. And it's just that deception to keep us in this cage on the continuum. But we have to brace up, wake up, and of course, decide that we need to break the chains that we have on our arms. Otherwise, I'm sorry, we'll continue to lament. Bye for now.